Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 14th of March 2024. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover the most important articles from the newspaper. And some important articles were there in the editorial section of the newspaper also. So let us quickly see the list of articles. So we are going to cover these many articles from the newspaper today. Alright. And so before we move forward, let us quickly see a program, and this program is marathon classes. Okay, so we are going to have marathon classes. Let's say these classes are going to start from 1st of April. Okay, till 10th of April we are going to have, let's say, one class every day as per this schedule. Okay, so in marathon classes generally there will be a class of 9 hours every day for about, let's say, for about 8 days. And during these classes, we are going to cover these subjects, let's say, thoroughly for the prelims exam. These classes are for those students who are preparing for UPSC Prelims exam of 2024, who are little less prepared or who want to revise all the subjects, let's say, quickly. So for them, the marathon classes are the, let's say, answer. So you can join these marathon classes. That's going to help you to qualify the prelims exam. So the further details are mentioned over here. You can pause this video or you can download this PDF from the description of the YouTube video. Okay, and you can go through the details of the marathon classes, and if you need further let's say information, you can reach out to our let's say inquiry office, and they are going to help you with the information related to it. So now let us discuss about the first topic, and this topic is, it says, Supreme Court to hear plea to include Chief Justice of India on EC selection panel. Okay, so basically this topic is related to, right, this topic is related to the Election Commission of India. So Amit Thakur has joined. Good evening, thank you so much for joining. So basically here we need to understand that the Election Commission of India is a multi-member body. Election Commission of India is a constitutional body. And in the Election Commission of India, we have a Chief Election Commissioner and we have election commissioners. So presently it has 3 members. I mean, like, Election Commission of India has 3 members, the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners. However, the Chief Election Commissioner is the person, let's say, who heads the Election Commission of India, and other election commissioners also hold the same weight as Chief Election Commissioner. Okay. But recently what has happened, one of the election commissioner has retired and the other election commissioner has resigned because of some dispute in the sense, some kind of disagreements related to something that we don't know, right? It is not published in the newspaper articles also. So the thing is, presently the Election Commission of India had only one election commissioner. So that's why, I mean, like, some people have approached the Supreme Court of India to take some recourse, some decision in this matter. And earlier the Supreme Court of India has given a decision, and in that decision the name of that particular case is mentioned over here. It is known as Anup Baranwal versus Union of India, right, in March last year. So there was a constitution bench which comprises of 5 judges of the Supreme Court of India, and it was headed by Justice K.M. Joseph. And this judge has now retired, and he has ordered the election commissioner and 2 election commissioners to be appointed by the president on the advice tendered by a committee. And that committee will include 3 persons. One person is the Prime Minister of India, then the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha or the leader of the single largest opposition party, and the Chief Justice of India. So here we need to understand that this particular committee, right, that the Supreme Court of India has recommended, that the Supreme Court of India has directed through a 5-judge bench of the constitution of the, let's say, like, Supreme Court of India. It is also known as constitutional bench. It has said that, like, the panel which is going to select the election commissioners and other election commissioners are going to have 3 members. One of the member will be the Prime Minister of India, other member will be the leader of opposition or the leader of the single largest party in the Lok Sabha, and the third person will be the Chief Justice of India. And this was given because at that point of time there was, let's say, there was no clarity, no law was made, and Supreme Court of India has said that till a law is made by the union government, this will hold true, this will be, let's say, applicable. But later on the later on basically the union government has come up with an act, and this act is known as the Chief Election Commission, the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners appointment, condition of service and terms of offices Act 2023. So this is the act under which, let's say, they are going to appoint Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners. But the thing is, in this particular act, what they have done is they have removed the Chief Justice of India. So instead of Chief Justice of India, they have included a cabinet minister. Means now, as per this particular act, the selection committee will comprise of the Prime Minister of India, a cabinet minister, and the leader of opposition or the leader of the single largest party in the Lok Sabha. So basically it includes two persons from the ruling government. One is the Prime Minister of India, and other is going to be let's say, a cabinet minister. So it's going to give undue advantage to the ruling government. I mean, like, here the process of appointment may not be as simple. I mean, like, process of appointment may be associated with some kind of, let's say, like, so it's going to affect the democracy at large, because the Election Commission of India is a constitutional body which is mandated to conduct free and fair election for the entire nation, for India, right? So now there are people who have moved to the Supreme Court of India to ask the Supreme Court of India to take some decision on this matter. Okay, so Supreme Court of India has said that we are going to hear this particular matter on Friday. Friday means tomorrow. They're going to hear this matter. Why? Because the contenders, these people have said that if Supreme Court of India does not intervene, so in that case unfair advantages can be taken, unfair advantages will be available to the central government. Okay, this is the thing. However, although this article came in the morning today, but the thing is, the latest information is that we got to know through Twitter, basically X platform. There Advocate Prashant Bhushan, right, he has mentioned that government has in haste appointed two election commissioners. Okay, they have appointed two election commissioners, and this is a preemptive move. I mean, before Supreme Court of India can intervene, the union government has already appointed two election commissioners by following this particular act, which is the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners appointment, conditions of service and terms of office Act 2023. So using this act, right, by implementing this act, they have already appointed two election commissioners today itself. But the question is that tomorrow the Supreme Court of India is going to list this matter. Maybe, let's say, some new updates may come from this particular topic. Okay, so it says that the stay of implementation of section 7 of the Chief Election Commission and other election commissions appointment, condition of service and terms of office act. Okay, so these people, this NGO which is being represented by Prashant Bhushan, so they have approached the Supreme Court of India to look into this particular matter, and they say that Supreme Court of India should reinstate or should reaffirm the already given judgment, which is in Anup Barnwal versus Union of India judgment. Okay, here the Supreme Court of India has said, a constitution bench of the Supreme Court of India has said that the appointing committee will have three members. One, the Prime Minister of India, the second, leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha or leader of the single largest opposition party in the Lok Sabha, and third will be the Chief Justice of India. However, in the act, as we discussed, they have included the Prime Minister, a cabinet minister, and leader of opposition or leader of the single largest party in the, let's say, in the Lok Sabha. So this is the thing, this is the topic, and why, let's say, it is important to have, let's say, multiple members in the Election Commission of India. It is because the Election Commission of India holds the primary responsibility of conducting free and fair election for the entire country. In India, we have 1.4 billion people, means 140 crore people, right? So election to be conducted for such a massive number of people is very difficult. Means like not all of them will be voting, but all those people who are above the age of 18 years who are eligible for voting, they will be voting generally, okay? So it includes, let's say, a massive exercise that is to be done by the Election Commission of India. Now with this, let us quickly move to the next article, next topic. It says India's R&D funding, India's research and development funding, breaking down the numbers, okay? So here we are going to understand how much does India fund related to research and development. Are we making in progress in research and development? So related to this, basically two people, right? Two people have written an article. One is policy fellow, right? Policy analysis, Office of Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, and other is technical consultant, Department of Science and Technology, okay? So basically these people have written an article, and this article talks about the good efforts that the government is taking related to promoting research and development in the country. So basically in this article they have said that, like, various prime ministers in India have given different slogans, right? What slogans they have given? So Lal Bahadur Shastri has said Jai Jawan, like Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, okay? So Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan by Lal Bahadur Shastri. Then Atal Bihari Vajpayee said Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, okay? Vigyan means science. And third prime minister, the present prime minister, he says Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan, okay? The current prime minister. So in this article, basically they highlight the good efforts that the government of India is doing related to research and development in the country. So here if we talk about India's R&D, right, which is witnessing a significant growth. So it says that gross expenditure on research and development has gone from 6,1,968 million in 2010-11 to 12,73,810 million rupees. It is in rupees term, okay, in 2020-21. So they say in the last 10 years, the amount that is being spent on research and development, it has doubled, okay? It has doubled in the last 10 years. However, with research and development investment as a percentage of GDP, it stands at 0.64%. How much do we spend on research and development as part of the GDP, gross domestic product of the country, right? We spend less than 1%, just little over 0.5%. It is 0.64%. And if we talk about developed countries, many countries are there that spend more than 2% in research and development. Like, one of the countries, United States of America, the European Union, right, Canada, and China, they spend way more than what India spends as part of GDP. So here they say India falls behind major developed and emerging economies such as China, Germany, South Korea, and United States. China spends around 2.4% of its GDP, and Chinese GDP, its size is about $19 trillion. Indian GDP size is of about hardly, let's say, like, $3 trillion. So it's, let's say, like way lower than the Chinese GDP. Germany spends 3.1% of its GDP in R&D. South Korea spends around 4.8%, around 5% of its GDP in R&D. United States 3.5%. So the developed countries spend a huge amount of money in research and development, and that's why their R&D culture is very robust, right? They are able to develop and come out with new technologies, innovative products from time to time, and they are the leading, let's say, countries in the world in this area. However, if we compare the research output, right, of different countries, right, so here it says that India has emerged as a powerhouse in producing academic talent. In India, around 40,813 PhDs, right, so around 40,000 people get PhD degrees every year, means 40,000 people in India get PhD degree. So additionally, India's research output remains substantial, ranking third globally, okay. So research output from India ranks third globally. So we have had more than 3 lakh publications in 2022. What do we mean by publications? Publications means research papers by research scholars, people who are doing PhD, people who have done PhD, they publish their research papers in let's say leading journals. So like in 2022 we have published more than 3 lakh, let's say like research papers or in various scientific journals. Okay, they can be peer reviewed papers, singly written papers by PhD scholars in the country. Okay, and apart from this, India also demonstrates commendable performance in patent grants, securing 6th position globally with 30,490 patents granted in 2022. So when we talk about patents, right, patent is a kind of intellectual property rights. Those people who are developing new products or innovative solutions to a problem, right, they can get their processes and products patented. So India stands 6th globally in terms of patent, let's say like patent approvals. So in 2022, right, last to last year, we have, let's say, like given 30,490 patents have been granted in India. And apart from this, let's say if we talk about the India's gross expenditure on research and development, it is primarily driven by the government sector, that includes central government, state government, higher education institutes and public sector industry. Okay, so like R&D grants or gross expenditure in the research and development, it is by the public sector, that includes the central government, state government and higher educational institutes that are funded by the government, and also the public sector industry. Okay, so like they are focusing, or they are the largest chunks who are, let's say like furthering the cause of research and development in the country. So they say that if we talk about investment in research and development, so there was an statistics in 2022-23 by Department of Science and Technology. So it says our total investment has reached, let's say, 17.2 billion in 2020-21. Within this sum, 54% or 9.4 billion is allocated to government sector, okay, in the field of research, like Defense Research and Development Organization, Department of Space, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Department of Atomic Energy. So these are the agencies that have, let's say like garnered most share out of the total allocation that were done by the government in the research and development field. So here in this article they say that like India is standing, let's say like if we talk about the overall output, right, overall output. So the thing is, India stands 3rd globally from the, let's say like from the research and development. Apart from this, the patent grants, India stands 6th. And we are producing huge number of research scholars who are let's say like publishing huge number of articles or research articles in leading journals. So it says that India is taking initiatives, and what initiatives India is taking? Number 1, National Deep Tech Startup Policy. We have started National Deep Tech Startup Policy. It signals a strong commitment towards technological progress and innovation. This policy holds potential for incentivizing private sector engagement in India. Okay, apart from this, you might be knowing we have Anusandhan National Research Foundation. Okay, Government of India has passed Anusandhan National Research Foundation Act, and under this act what we want to do, we want to foster the culture of research and development, and through this act Government of India want to channelize funds through the public sector, the private sector, right, in the research and development field, so that like there is private public participation, right, public sector as well as private sector also participates in R&D grants, right, in R&D funding, so that research and development ecosystem grows in the country. Okay, so it has been passed last year itself, and like we are witnessing let's say growth in the research and development because of this. So finally the authors are saying that India's technological and manufacturing aspirations hinge on a transformative shift in its R&D landscape. Okay, so like we are actually seeing some leap and bounds, some shift in the R&D ecosystem in the country. Okay, so this article is good for all those research scholars and for UPSC aspirants also, because like this article talks about what is the status of research and development in the country, where we stand globally in research and development. So this article focuses on multiple aspects, right, in terms of number of PhDs, in terms of number of research articles published, in terms of gross expenditure in research and development, in terms of the number of patent applications that are being granted, right, from India. So with this, let us now quickly move to another article. This article is again very important. It says a fresh stance. Okay. So basically what has happened this Sunday, on this Sunday, like we are on, I think like Thursday. So basically it says a fresh stance. India's free trade pact with 4 European Union nation matters even if gains are limited. So basically India has signed a, let's say, economic partnership, economic pact with 4 European countries. What are those countries? One of the countries is Iceland, second is Liechtenstein, third is Norway, and fourth is Switzerland. Okay, fourth is Switzerland. And what is this pact known as? Name of this pact is Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement. Okay, in short it is known as TEPA. Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement with these 4 European countries. Okay, in European Union there are 28 countries, and out of those countries, let's say like out of those countries basically Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Switzerland, right? With these countries India has signed this agreement, which is TEPA, Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement. And before this, these countries together had another agreement which is known as European Free Trade Association. Okay, so it was formerly known as European Free Trade Association. So with these countries India has joined this thing, and how it is going to help India to grow? Basically these countries will support, let's say, like India's goods. For example, some goods that are originating in India, some goods that are being manufactured or produced in India. If we want to sell these goods in any of these 4 countries, so these goods will get national treatment in their countries. National treatment means like if there are goods that are being produced in their own countries, right? So like they will be sold in the market at certain price, and if goods come from outside, generally other countries, let's say, impose some kind of tariff, some kind of import duties. But the thing is, like those goods that are originated from India, when it goes to any of these 4 countries, right, it will receive national treatment. Like they will not apply undue, let's say, like like entry tax in the sense like it is known as excise duty, or like barrier tax. They are not going to apply those taxes. So like these goods will be sold at par with the goods that are being produced locally in these countries. So like for India it's a kind of win-win situation. We will be able to sell our goods, let's say, like in these countries. And apart from this, let's say, like in market access terms, the deal offers more room for Indian service firms with easier visa rules, so that they can also tap other European markets using these countries as base. Okay, basically our service sector, right, will be able to tap other European countries by, let's say, making these countries as base. Okay, so like they will be able to establish their offices over there, and from there they can sell their goods in the other European Union countries. Okay, so this is the thing. So in this article basically they have talked about that how this particular agreement that India has signed with these countries are going to help Indian economy, Indian businesses, Indian let's say services sectors, right, to grow. So it says basically in this article that professionals that are architects, accountants and nurses can also expect more opportunities. Most goods exported already get duty-free treatment in Switzerland, India's largest EFTA trade partner. Okay, so the linchpin in this deal is inbuilt goal to nudge 100 billion of fresh foreign direct investment into India. Okay, so through this signing of this particular thing, India is also going to get foreign direct investment in the country. So like we are going to receive money, right, and our businesses will be growing. So people from these countries will be able to invest in India through foreign direct investment route. Okay, so here they have also discussed about regional comprehensive economic partnership agreement. Like what has happened basically, it signals India's apparent aversion to such trade pacts since 2014. So basically in this article they are talking about that this act, Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, it's going to benefit in India in multiple ways. There are various different types of professionals who are going to get benefited. Service sector is going to get benefited. We are going to get, let's say, foreign capital or foreign investment, foreign direct investment in the country, and it's a win-win situation for India and also for those countries. Okay, this is the thing. So with this, now let us move to another article. This is an article that's a kind of commentary. Okay, this article is a kind of commentary on higher engagement, better learning. Okay, so in this article basically they say that what happens in a classroom, right? What happens in a classroom? Whenever a teacher is teaching in a classroom, he has to engage with the students. He need to ask questions to the students, right? So that the students' mind stay alert, right? Because like they may think that any time the teacher can ask any question, so their mind will stay alert. And if the teacher is asking question, teaching the topic, so students will be getting most of it. Okay, so it is known as engagement. But what happens basically in many schools, right, in India, most of the teachers who are teaching, right, they have not gotten their education in this manner. They have not gotten their education in the engagement form. So that's why, like when it comes to, let's say, delivering lecture, when it comes to taking classes, they themselves are failing to interact with the students. They themselves are not asking enough questions to the students. They are not engaging the students. So like, the overall learning output, overall learning outcome for the students become very difficult. Okay, very less basically. So that's why in this article the authors saying that we need to consider teachers to be learners themselves, and teachers, let's say teachers training should happen on a regular basis so that teachers also get to learn what is the best way to teach in a classroom, what is the best way to interact with the students, and how to engage students, let's say like in learning different activities, how to conduct activities in the classroom. So a lot of, let's say, suggestions have been made by the author in this article. So here in this article, author also focuses on that, like, teaching the teacher means there should be a regular assessment of teacher, regular training of the teacher, so that, like, teachers also get to learn new ways of teaching in the classroom, so that, like, they can impart, let's say, good education to the students. Okay, basically. So in this article the author is pointing out about a study that was conducted by an organization which is known as Pratham. Okay, so Pratham is an NGO, right, non-governmental organization. It has come out with a report, and this report is known as the Annual Status of Education Report. What report? The Annual Status of Education Report 2023. And this report states that more than 86.8% individuals in the age group 14 to 18 are enrolled in education institutions. Okay, more than 86% individuals in the age group 14 to 18 are enrolled in education institutes in India. However, the thing is, like, 1/4 of them cannot read class 2 level text fluently in their regional languages. This points towards deficit in engagement with the students. This points towards, let's say, lack of interactions with the students. Generally what happens whenever a teacher is there in the classroom, what he does, like, he writes something in the classroom, he asks the student to note it down, he goes outside the classroom to do some more important work, he comes back from comes back again in the classroom, then he starts asking question to the students, like, what did you understand with this? Give me answer related to this. So what happens? Students have not learned in the first place, and that's why they are not able to answer it. That's why, let's say, like, engagement is somewhere lacking. Okay, so in this article the author is saying that, like, learning deficit is because of deficit in engagement with the students, deficit in interaction with the students. So it is very important that the teachers interact with the students, they ask questions to the students in the beginning itself, they ask, let's say, like, they engage the students in various kinds of activities so that their learning can progress. Okay, so this article talks about how, let's say, students' learning capacity can be improved, how learning outcome can be improved, and teachers have a good role to play over here. Okay, finally in this article the author says that student engagement is key to driving better learning, but this is missing from many classrooms in India. Okay, so student engagement is missing from many classrooms in India. So this is the thing. So with this, now let us move to another article. This article is also good It is related to Indian economy, and in this article basically we are going to talk about a report that was recently published by, let's say, a public sector think tank, which is, let's say, Niti Aayog, and there was another organization, it is Foundation for Economic Development. Okay, they have come out with a report, and this report suggests something to the government. What it suggests, it says that government must simplify merchandise trade process, establish single national trade portal for approvals and compliances in order to help spur exports by smaller players. So basically what is happening in India, there are many business houses that are exporters, means like they are exporting and importing. Their primary business is export and import, and government of India does have multiple policies in place, and these policies that are in existence, these policies require a lot of compliance, right, lot of documentation from time to time from these export houses. Okay, and since these export houses are big organizations, they are able to comply with all the rules and norms and policies that are set by the government. However, what happens, like when we talk about digital market, or when we talk about digital, let's say like businesses that are involved in digital trade, right, they are exporting less of their goods to other countries. Why? Because of treatment of these digital players or digital, let's say like businesses at par with the exporters and importers in India. Okay, means like they are not treated differently, they are different businesses altogether. Some businesses, they are wholly for export import purposes. Other businesses, they are operating in Indian markets, but they do have the capacity of exporting things outside. Government is treating them in the same way, and the digital market players, right, they are facing difficult to export their goods because they have to also comply with huge or different types of norms, policies and all. So here in this article they have said that, like, Niti Aayog along with Foundation for Economic Development, they have come up with a report, and in that report what they have said, that government have to create a distinction. Government has to create a distinction between exporter on record and seller on record. Okay, number one, exporter on record and seller on record. Who are exporter on record? Those businesses that like whose primary activity is export import, right? Those maybe, let's say there is a factory, this factory is actually manufacturing, let's say, clothes, and they get order from outside, right, outside India. So they are manufacturing in India and they are exporting, so it is exporter on record. But there are some sellers on record, some, let's say, small businesses, right? It can be a small business, it does have a portal. If there is a person from outside in India, right, if they want to order something, then this particular person, if they have to sell outside, so they have to follow all those compliances. It creates a barrier for them. So that's why these two organizations together has recommended to the government that exporter on record and seller on record must be treated distinctively, must be treated separately, so that, right, so that let's say these seller on record, these people can also boost their export potential, and it is ultimately going to help Indian economy to grow. They say that, like, we need to introduce annual financial reconciliation process for e-commerce exporters and exempt import duties on rejects that come back as returns. Okay, so it says that, like, as of now government is not doing so, and that's why, like, the sellers are not able to reap the benefit. Here it says, like, India has like China has exported goods valuing to $200 billion via e-commerce in 2022. However, India has shipped only $2 billion. You see, China $200 billion they have shipped through e-commerce portals. India has shipped only $2 billion. I mean, like, 100 times less than China. This showcases a grim picture. It showcases that, like, we are missing out on tapping the potential of the e-commerce players in India. And key reason for this gap is cumbersome compliance process tied to exports, especially for payment reconciliation. Okay, and it says that think tank means Niti Aayog, moods exempting import duties on reject that come back as returns. So, like, let's say if we have sold anything, if it comes back as returns, so in that case import duties must be exempt exempted. Okay, this is the thing. So this topic is a kind of suggestion to the government from the Niti Aayog and from the Foundation for Economic Development. Okay, so that like our e-commerce players can also get the benefit of exporting more goods. It will ultimately help India grow, right? This is the thing. So with this, let us now understand about another thing. Very soon we are going to start PT 100 topic classes for science and technology. PT 100 topic classes means like for the upcoming prelims exam 2024, there will be dedicated classes. I mean, like, few classes, 5 to 6 classes will be there on science and technology every day, 2.5 hours class in the evening from 5 to 7:30. Right, it's going to start from 18th of March this year. Right, for 5 to 6 days, we are going to cover science and technology portion completely. Okay, every day we are going to take a section and we are going to discuss like, let's say, many topics from the prelims point of view. Okay, we are going to cover at least 100 topics like from the prelims point of view from the science and technology section. And as you know, from science and technology, huge number of questions comes in the prelims exam. 10 to 15 questions come every year. If you attend these classes, it will help you to solve the prelims questions, science and technology questions in the prelims exam. Okay, so that will be all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.